Hi, welcome in. I'm going to let you get settled as I get settled myself. I'm Amanda Zane, and I'm excited to be celebrating our journeys together. What I'm doing real quick is I have this app with all these frequency protocols on them, and like they have adrenal, pituitary gland, anti aging, body pain, brain fog. This is what I got certified in frequency specific microcurrent. And I am putting on the wound healing protocol, which is meant for actual wound healing. But when I've put my conductive pad on to run the frequencies after tackling a big life lesson or grieving, letting something go, realizing something about myself, and then running the wound healing, I feel so much better after. So I'm going to let that run while we have our hopefully nice cup of tea, coffee. I have an evening latte that has adaptogenic herbs in it. It's like a liquid nootropic. I've been really into the nootropics lately because they have positive effects on memory, focus, cognition, mood, and I'm all about that. I'm going to frame myself up a little better here. When I did my practice run, the frame was not as close, so sorry about that. There we go. All right. Well, I have our cards to start. We've been on quite the journey. One of my biggest intentions today, this evening, starting at 555, is acknowledging change. There's something that's shifting in our lives, in our society, in our collective. And I love this says balance, and it has two wicks. And it's a result of all the inner work that we've done. So I'd invite us to get cozy, get comfortable, get that spine nice and straight, whether you're lying down or sitting. You don't have to be rigid, just erect. And start to notice your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Trace the breath all the way down to your belly. If you're a woman, you can go all the way down to your womb. There's a energy stopper point called Uddiyana Bandha in yoga. And what we do is we lift up the sexual organs almost like we're stopping ourselves from urinating. And when we breathe in and exhale, you notice that you really gather a lot of that prana, that life force energy. So you can try that to add some containment and keep that breath, that life force energy within your body, lifting up the sexual organs and inhaling and exhaling. Let's do two more. Inhale, still pulling up, and exhale, still pulling in. And last one, pulling up those sexual organs, filling up with prana. Exhale, still have your Uddiyana Bandha activated. That is a beautiful energy center around the root chakra. Muladhara is our sense of belonging. It's the color red. And when we activate the Uddiyana Bandha, it makes us feel held at our root level. So if we can just add that in to some of our most erratic moments, you might feel a greater sense of being held by yourself. And First of all, I want to thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for your journey. Thank you for your growth, your commitment to coming home to yourself, because it's made quite a difference. The healing of one is the healing of many. So perhaps you can take a moment to acknowledge how the people around you, how the environments around you, how the culture around you has shifted since you started your personal growth journey. I know for me, my whole family went along on this journey, and it was a long one, about 5 years. But I was looking through the Dharana method, the meditation school that I founded. I was looking through the Facebook today, and all the way back to 2016, I was posting these huge epiphanies, these symptoms, and my observations of what was happening in the world, my active Buddhism. I'm not particularly Buddhist. I did take Buddhist vows, but I one of my teachers is Thich Nhat Hanh. He's now passed, but he was a monk in the Vietnamese War. He notices people were dying, and he decided to go and teach the enemy, the American soldier, meditation and self love. And his book, The Art of Power, is a central text in my balance power leadership trainings because it teaches how to live in harmony with yourself and others. So, his active Buddhism is so apparent in my posts that tie in mindfulness, love, the root causes of particular social and political issues. The Dharana meditation Facebook page is fairly political. I noticed that as I scrolled through. And I'm glad because that's just who I am. When I see someone suffering or group suffering, it must be acknowledged. Spiritual bypassing is absolutely real, where, yes, we envision our reality, we create our reality, but we do that by first acknowledging what it is that is going on. And as a child, I was a big dreamer. And on the Dharana page, I found a post that said, when I'm stressed, I notice I go into fantasy or planning my way out of it when the most beneficial thing for me is to go into the present moment. But as a child, I found this I found this writing, I guess, from 1997. I think I was 9 years old, and it is fantasy, but also I have thought this way about the world for a long time. So there's a few ways you could look at that. When I'm reading this, I can say, "Oh, she was stressed and going into fantasy to create a new world." And also, I've always been creative and imaginative. I've never lost that. My inner child is still very much alive with my art and my optimism and my wonder for life. But I'll read it to you if you don't mind. Wouldn't it be great if fairies came and granted you a wish? And if the rivers were full of talking fish? Or if there was magic inside of you all along? And if you were made famous by your new hit song? Or you rubbed a lamp and out came a genie? And if your teacher was no longer a meanie? I love to fantasize. Now you try it sometime. Open your eyes. In a Thumbelina coloring book. I was a late bloomer. I feel like my journey was to collect parts of myself that got hidden away or were told were unacceptable or were unsafe as I progressed into adulthood. And one of those is the magic of being a child and my imagination. Where that serves me now is in entrepreneurship and in my art. But when I was married, for example, I had these big dreams of what we could create, where we could live. I had a dream of building an off grid tiny home and living simply. And we settled for a camper van that I rented out on a outdoorsy and took the family out on the weekends. So it brought much frustration to my ex-husband. He did not want to keep creating all of these different ways of being, and so I felt stifled. I did not have the tools yet to channel that energy into art. I had been an artist all my life, but in fact, I was going to be an artist in college, but I got summoned to write for the college paper and decided to interview all my favorite bands, got sidetracked really down that whole path of journalism. And 15 years into that journey in 2020, I was let go in the pandemic for what I thought was speaking out to protect people from losing freedom. And I tell people all the time, I was hosting a TV show with my favorite people. I was getting new modalities on there that people had never seen before in the mainstream. I was highlighting multicultural groups and things like LGBTQ films at Sundance that were not being talked about in the mainstream. I was loving it. So I told people when I lost my job that I'm grateful because I would have never quit that job and I would have never reclaimed the artist. I had started to reclaim my passion for wellness. I decided to become a yoga teacher when I got pregnant with my son because something told me that the way things are set up in this society are not conducive to being a mother. And thank goodness that I did that because my wellness education and content has transformed into this whole community of other healers meeting together for collaborative retreats, education systems that help you become multidimensional, help you activate your energy body, help you live a lifestyle that's conducive to our true nature, which is Lisa Bolte Taylor. I'm sorry, Jill Bolte Taylor. She's a neuroanatomist, said we are feeling creatures who think, not thinking creatures who feel, and that we could have up to 50 sensory systems. So what does that tell us? For me, a deeply feeling being who's very sensitive to sound, colors, environments, and I crave that beauty, that texture. That tells me that we've created a world that is not supportive of our true nature. Hence, you get Love is Freedom, the nonprofit I started. The mission is inspiring lifestyles supportive of our true nature. And that's why those community events were focused on art, sustainability, horses, music, because when I see that something is not here or it's not functioning, I know I can create it. I've proven that. When I get excited about something, I can share it. It's within my power to change the things I can change. So, acceptance has been one of my biggest lessons. And that brings me back to why I read what I read as a child is acceptance of the parts of ourselves that we hide or that had to be hidden. I want to show you something. It's a little scary, so just brace yourself. This is a psychopath rock that was done by a child. There is a wound there, and this was given to me by a child I care about. And I was shocked when I saw that because I know what art does is it gives voice to some parts of us that we haven't acknowledged yet. And so that beautiful child, I looked at him and I held that rock and I said, I love this so much. And I'm going to display it in my house. And then I let the child know I went on a hike with that rock. I have had it in my pocket. I just love that rock so much. And this child was so happy about that because I think he was a little nervous to show me this. But from my journey, when my son and I, we worked on an art piece and it was this happy, rainbowy colored art piece that I ended up calling childhood healing because at the very end, when were about to set the resin, he took a screw that he found on the ground and shoved it through one of the candy hearts. And my mama heart just sank because, as I know, that is his expression of there is something still there. So let me read that childhood wounding entry. I did a art show in Sedona with all my body of work, and I printed off these little cards with the descriptions. And on this childhood healing, it says, when my son and I worked on this piece, it had been nearly 4 years since the divorce. I had laid out happy, kid like pieces in these candy hearts for us to resin. It broke my heart when I saw him pick up a screw from the yard and pierce one of the hearts with it. Like me, we were still healing. It made me feel like a failure of a parent, with all I'd tried to do to help him feel loved after he lost his nuclear family, his home, several pets along the way, and most recently, his grandpa, my dad. But then I remembered that having a loving mom, aware of his emotions and very encouraging of him sharing them, was more than many kids have. In Native tradition, it is said that the moment a child is born, the umbilical cord goes from the mother to Mother Earth. My son is on his own journey, and the earth will heal him in ways that I can't. I pray that he knows he always has my advocacy, my unconditional love, and the earth's endless support surrounding him on this journey. The responsibility that we have to our children is of love and support and attention and affection, guidance. He has his own journey, and that's the toughest part as a parent. And I'm sure if you're a parent, you can relate. And that realization helped turn me inward to the child in me that I didn't want to hear from. I had put that child so far down while I was in the thick of rebuilding my life after job loss, divorce, and all of that. And what I was attempting to do was to be the dad, the masculine, and help my family survive without being able to rely on a job that could get taken away. And now without a family home, I decided I wanted to go and build that off-grid sustainable home so that I could keep my son and me alive no matter what happened. So I really engaged that masculine part of me and shoved that inner child down. I also shoved the feminine down because the feminine wanted to rest and recover and rage and cry at the extreme loss. But I didn't have time for that. I was in survival mode. And then I went into full, I've got to rebuild my skill set. If I can't work in TV in Utah, and that's where my son lived, I got to figure out this whole new skill set. So it took quite some time of a shamanic warrior's journey. I have that on my website, Spirituality and Self Reliance. It was my way of not feeling alone, being connected to source through spirituality. I felt protected, connected, divine, and aligned. And my self-reliance skills that I learned from mentors and courses. And I'm sure you've heard part of the story if you know me, but really going full warrior out in the wild as I lived in that RV, the the masculine part of myself was able to balance. It worked out so many fears of not being able to provide for my family. It showed me I was capable. And because I had the training in the Dharana method, which teaches love and equanimity, which I didn't always use when I was healing from my divorce, I lashed out. Some of that trauma came up at other people. There were times I was violent. There was still stuff working out, but the core heart underneath all of that was centered on love. And through the awareness, I could see now out now that the masculine part of my ego was quieter because it was working out that energy. I could notice when I did something that was harmful and I could reorient myself. And this is still a practice that I have where I am undoing all of these mental patterns and learning how to respond, not react. It's a journey, but I have proven to myself that I can be in a tense situation and not throw the dagger. I can see the inner child in someone and I can love that child. And sometimes you have to tell a child, no, there's the boundary there, right? But the thing that was really difficult to learn was how to care for my inner feminine. So when I got the masculine solid, not economically per se, but in the way that I can survive in the wilderness, I can feed my family. That's good. I know that I am strong. I know that I'm going to survive and help my family survive. I know that I'm a good protector because I can protect myself. Then I tried to give space to the feminine by taking days of rest. And by that point, I had tried to integrate back into society by getting a job. I started ketamine infusions with a dear friend and nurse practitioner at Restorative Health Primary Care. And that really helped me even see those patterns further and help me dissolve them rapidly while shifting my view of me being the survivor into, wow, I have all these other aspects of me. Some of them I haven't even done at all in my life that I can now aspire to. But I got a job as a ketamine guide after all the shamanic work. I was hired to guide ketamine treatments there. So I was participating in society again. And this is when it became necessary for my feminine to have a voice. And that was really tough while working a job, taking care of a kid, living in an RV in the city, just still in that mode of transitioning from having these expanses of time into being regimented. So taking time off, taking time to go into my cave so that she could feel, that was the biggest warrior journey of all because everyone was telling me, you got to hurry and get your life together. I mean, I had family members telling me that. You have to really figure your stuff out. And in my view, time was not something I was concerned about. It was more about, I've done so much of this healing. I'm not stopping now. I'm not going to stunt half of my growth just because society is telling me I'm not where I should be 2, 3 years out from a divorce. Luckily, my dad, he was so sweet. He was also my toughest teacher, but I do remember him saying, "Honey, divorces take a long time to heal from, economically and just healing. They take a long time." And so that gave me some validation, but in every other part of my life, I was not receiving that. So I had to learn to validate myself and to take that time for myself and to explore her deep, deep seated trauma. This wasn't divorce per se. This was sexual assault. This was expectations. This was religious misconduct. It was so much that I uncovered, and that's a lot to deal with. Anyone in this society, because we haven't been living true to our nature, has many, many instances where they've had to disconnect from parts of their true self to be able to function. If I took the guidance of everyone else around me and went full steam into a career path, I would have abandoned that entire feminine part that was the biggest um biggest abandoned self fragment of my being. So I am so grateful that my inner masculine protected this beautiful feminine being in feeling. Not only that, but encouraging me to take the Tantra certification in 2022, encouraging me to share my story of my awakening, my multidimensionality on YouTube, start getting that up. And my inner masculine really helped me do that by saying, no, tonight we committed to doing a podcast. Let's do this. You can go back to your resting later. So I'm really grateful for my inner masculine for protecting me and holding that space and encouraging me to one step at a time build at my pace. I even took an art mentorship with my favorite artist that I have one more assignment left, my self portrait, and then I'm done with that. But just coming back home to myself, I was protected by myself. And I've had so much help along the way. My dad let me park my trailer at his property for a time. A dear friend paid for an apartment for 6 months. I could not even fathom that kind of generosity. And sadly, that period, I went into the darkest part because I was finally like safe. Things were taken care of for a time. And so on the outside, it looked like I was getting worse. I felt worse. I was dealing with things that were the deepest demons in my closet. And I had people around me who were not supportive of the light. And they were there for me in the darkness, but it did not assist me in coming to the light. So it's interesting that safety, and I've noticed that throughout the journey, is that when I did get safe and could relax fully, that's when things went way down into dissension. That's when I was moving the most energy, which expressed in not great ways to people who I felt were causing me harm. Like things were just coming out. So, what I learned with that is safety doesn't always equal peace. Safety is a foundational step on the way to peace, but safety, like pulling up that Uddiyana Bandha, that encourages us to release, to feel, to see, to speak. Sparkle Power, one of my experiences on my website, there's a Patreon group for that. And it's a safe space to express badly because I noticed on my journey, I had some safe people who I would get in altercations with. They would get in altercations with me, but we had the love there that we could express our boundaries and our perspectives safely. And then we learned humility and came and apologized and worked things out. And now these people are so dear to me because we've been through the reclaiming of our voice together. And so I wanted to share that with Sparkle Power because that expression, speaking your truth, is vital when it comes to getting your energy body aligned and to getting your original frequency, dissolving the distortions, getting that life force energy flowing through you. Expression, the throat chakra is a major part of enlightenment and embodiment. It is if if you follow the dimensionality of our energetic being, because we're limitless beings, but we are a wave, like an individual wave in this field that is the ocean of creation. But our individual wave has its own karma. It's called the jiva in Vedanta. And we work that karma out. Meditation helps clear karma. Service helps clear karma. Making amends helps clear karma. Coming to balance in your lifestyle clears karma. And then you move forward slowly and intentionally so that you don't create any new karma. But clearing the karma, you find yourself in the fourth dimension, the heart space, where there is a lot of hurt there. And when you clear that karma, like you'll be working on that space by grieving, releasing. I would do release ceremonies. That's why 1010, I wanted to share this practice with you of setting the intention to release because it clears karma, it clears that heart space, it synthesizes, alchemizes old hurts into love. Grief is love, pain is love. And when we allow it to be expressed, whether that's through, I love writing raps. My masculine loves bragging it out on raps. If he's not feeling seen, bragging out on a rap, maybe even like a diss in there. Like rap is so healthy for that masculine and feminine too. If she's not feeling loved or beautiful, like writing that, or if she's sad for the world, like she can write about what we can do to make it better, creating art. So, like giving voice. My Instagram, Shamanic Warriors, that's that whole journey when I was in the thick of it. That and Amanda's love both helped me express what I was going through and share the gold, not just share the pain of it, but share the lesson I was learning so that I could still contribute, like active service, clearing the karma in that process. And that unburdened my heart. The most important step is connecting to your value of living true to your true nature. And what I come to know to be true is that we are beings of love. If we are channels of source energy, like the trees are conduits for heaven and earth, we are trees energetically, like the tree of life. We are made of the earth. We are made of carbon from the stars. We are vibration organized by the loving intention, hopefully loving, but love, the creative act of reproducing, hopefully, um, is organizes our vibration into being. We go from non-local to local awareness. Your Sanskrit mantra, which I can calculate for you, and it will aid you in meditation. It's the sound of the universe at the time of your birth. So, in our dimensionality, where our heart is the fourth dimension, our throat chakra is the fifth dimension. So, speaking is very important to creating reality, as the 5D people talk about. We keep going up in our dimensionality. We are infinite, connected, source energy, but we go up and up and up into the field of primordial light and sound. And primordial sound meditation is what I got certified in. This was after I started Dharana, but I wanted to bring more depth, more tools to equip teachers to share meditation to their communities. And primordial sound is the sound of the universe at the time of your birth. It's calculated custom to your birth date and place. And what I noticed when I started meditating with that Sanskrit mantra the first time after Raghavanand gave that to me at the Chopra Center, I went straight back into the incubator where I was separated from my mother at birth. And not only did I not have my skin to skin mama, my breastfeeding, but I couldn't suck my thumb. My mom said she was so heartbroken because they strapped me down and I was screaming for my thumb, but I had needles everywhere and they wanted to keep me safe. So anyway, that caused a lot of um dependence, like this low level agitation that I always need something to soothe. And so I sucked my thumb way past when I should have. When I was in college, I remember doing a on-air hosting role and I start playing with my belly button ring. Like I will touch my skin if I'm getting antsy talking to someone, just that self-soothing. So knowing this about myself and loving this about myself was part of the journey, and it started from that self-awareness was a gift that came through that Sanskrit mantra, meditating with that. So that is a beautiful way to come to your original frequency and learn where the distortions are. And sometimes you don't even know what it's harmonizing because Sanskrit's a vibrational language, but you will feel lighter. You will feel my my teacher Raghavanand that I just mentioned. He said enlightenment is just lightening up. And in our meditations, when you meditate with me, when you receive your mantra, one of the things we end with is intentions for mind, heart, body, and spirit. And the spirit one is lightness of being. So that's what we call in. So if you lift Uddiyana Bandha and breathe in, and then as you exhale, you think lightness of being, and then just release everything. That's the feeling. It's not empty. We're not trying to be empty over here. We are freeing our energy. Because if you quiet yourself and you hear as far as you can, just try it for one moment. Just hear as far as you can, maybe in the room and then outside your home. Your consciousness is not confined to your body. We are not our feelings. We are not our thoughts. We're not even just a body. But this body is special because it's a vehicle for us, for creator to experience itself as your unique frequency in this field of vibration and light and sound. So, going back to our inner child, that was a pure version of yourself that was conditioned into a certain way, whether you grew up religious or you grew up with trauma or in poverty or oppression. These are all imprints, distortions. These are part of our karma that we are here to dissolve, clear, transform, alchemize into power for our next incarnation if you are in that school of thought. I personally know that you can clear karma in one lifetime, and you are probably very close, if not already there. I do ceremonies when I'm feeling energies to be facilitated into the human experience, the plane of earth, because one of my sacred roles is to facilitate the frequencies and express what frequencies are available. And one that just came in recently, like within the last week, was karma cleared. And that's not just your personal karma. It was with my ancestral crystal skull, and crystal skulls are very sacred. A wisdom keeper in Sedona that I worked with, she had a bunch of crystal skulls, and there's crystal skulls that travel the world, and you can come and have audience with them. And anyway, deep, deep healing, some galactic healing. But this crystal skull wanted me to ceremony with it, and it told me karma's cleared because of your breaking of generational curses, aka karma, and your bloodline is cleared because you chose to treat yourself, parent yourself as the parent that is propagating peace, love, awareness, equanimity, sustainability. Like you have created a new generation. And in doing that, you heal 7 generations to come and 7 generations back. So that's why the healing of one is the healing of many. And this brings me back to the inner child. The inner child tells you when something is wrong, when you're not being the parent. Pardon me, my nose is itching. That's really strange. When something is out of balance, the inner child will throw a fit. And some of us will ignore this. Like I've been ignoring my inner child, and my right side just started acting up. That's why I'm doing the frequency, specific microcurrent, chiropractor, Pilates. But that inner child loved tagging along with my inner masculine. It was ignored heavily, but loved tagging along with my masculine during the warrior journey. My nose is itching all of a sudden because I loved being outside. I loved having time to go on a scavenger hunt, to look for feathers, to sit and look at the trees, to wonder, to dream. So part of my inner child, although very neglected, was enjoying that part of it. But now back in society, when I am here, I'm working, I'm parenting, I'm being a part of my community, I'm sharing online, I'm nurturing my feminine self, my adult self, my balanced self. My inner child's acting up again and is like, okay, is it my turn yet? Are we finally going to do the thing that Creator sent me here to do? Are we going to live a life of joy? Are we going to have fun? And this is why my son is the perfect son for me. He is so joyful. He loves laughing. He loves fun and adventure. He will make it a point to say something silly to make me laugh. It is the sweetest thing. And we went to on my page, you can see where we went to a fall farm and had so much fun together. It was my inner child's like best day ever hanging with her best buddy. I'm going to cry because my son is a beautiful reminder, as our kids are. They're teachers of what life is really about. Exploration. Okay, one day he's into radioactive elements. The next day he's into seals. Like it's amazing. It's like when we can remember to see the world with these childlike eyes, we tap into that part of ourself that is the purest part of ourself, that is begging to explore, to play. This society is getting better at integrating that. I've created fun experiences to teach in corporate settings like group art and envisioning and adventures like snowshoeing and hiking and sitting and talking to the trees. It's so fun. I do give back events that help workplaces engage with nonprofits and serve while they're at work. And so I'm noticing that we are prioritizing more of our true nature. It's happening, and it's because of your work. It's because of your inner work. It's because the Dharana teachers, 300 teachers across the globe, what you did, if you're a Dharana teacher and you're watching this, what you did by committing to your presence, and many of you started teaching in the community, in your families. Some of you built $1 million coaching businesses that helped women and spoke at TED Talks and got all of these amazing communities started across the world. That had such a big effect on why we are as conscious and even multidimensional as we are now. Because the healing of one is the healing of many. The presence of one is the presence of many. We are the wave connected to the ocean. There is a meditation that we're going to do. And you can pause this. You can, if you're watching the recording, you can get a drink, adjust. I'm not quite the meditation teacher that I used to be, where I can keep us in a secular mode. My consciousness expanded and I utilize a lot more helping energies. So if my words don't seem like they're particularly meditation oriented, I hope that you can just throw that out the window and just hear, feel my resonance of love, because that's what I intend you receive, is to feel loved and supported and feel comfortable in your body during this session and during this meditation. I'm not particularly religious, but I do utilize archangel energies after learning spiritual science with Dr. Robert J. Gilbert. He taught me a lot about the seven spheres and how the planets are guarded by these beings who are angelic beings who help us. So I kind of just have this whole multicultural, multidimensional, earth grounded, star guided approach. With that disclaimer, Archangel Michael, please protect the space and the space of all who are listening. Please clear the space within us and around us to allow us to fully be in this moment with no distortions or lower energies hijacking our experience. Archangel Uriel, please root our root chakra, our Muladhara, our red sphere that's at the base of our spine. Please grab that and extend it all the way down into the heart of Mother Earth, into a rose quartz crystal, please. Archangel Raphael, please fill our hearts with your healing green light, our Anahata chakra, and allow that light, that healing love of your green light, to radiate from our hearts through our entire bodies, nourishing every cell, harmonizing every vibration, and showing us the parts that are out of harmony, that are not in union with us yet. Please shine your green light in that space, please, as we move from our hearts, scanning up to our minds. Where does that green light run into darkness or distortion? Just make a little mental note of that. Going down our throats, back to the heart, we go down our arms, our shoulders, our back. Where does that light run into darkness or distortion, discomfort? Just make a note of that. Allow the green light to go through your stomach and your lower organs, going into every organ, every passageway, making a note if you notice any distortions or dark. Going down our spine, our hips, our glutes, below our belly button to the front part of our pelvis and underneath to our sexual organs. Notice if you run into any distortions or dark. Going down your thighs, the front of your thighs, the back of your thighs, your knees, bathing your knees in that green light, noticing any darkness or distortion. Down your shins, down your calves. And now spending some extra time on the feet, that healing green light, bathing the ankles, the ankle bones, the Achilles, the heel, the bottom of the foot, each individual toe, and the top of the foot and all its many bones and veins and tissues. Making a note of the general areas where you'd like to come back and shine more light on there. We're going to continue studying this meditation. Thank you, Archangel Raphael and Archangel Uriel, Archangel Michael. Now, Archangel Gabriel, please bring through messages of higher light and love. As we go from our root chakra at the base of the spine, we are going up the spine in an energy center just below the navel. The sacral chakra is orange. And where the red root chakra at the base of the spine, the lower sexual organs, that's I belong. The sacral chakra is I feel. An element of this chakra is water. And I invite you to send that watery orange light to those particular areas that the green light highlighted. So however this looks for you, you can just breathe that orange watery energy to those areas one at a time as a healing balm and an invitation for that energy to harmonize, to release, to be expressed, to be eliminated through water. As you go through and place this healing light, this balm on those areas, listen for any messages or pictures. And don't judge, just simply acknowledge. Are there phrases that come out, images, feelings? Hmm. Just a few more moments to bring that healing balm to all the places within. Now, at this time, if you have a journal nearby, if you're watching the recording later, you could pause this. You can jot down some things that you heard or learned from that. Maybe you saw some images, maybe they don't make sense now, but write them down because what you've started to do is shine light in a place that had darkness, that was unseen, that was unintegrated, that was not in union, not harmonized. And just writing that down is expressing that energy that opens the channel for that to be expressed. You have begun your healing of that. They say feel to heal, but it starts with seeing first, shining that light of awareness. And I have noticed from my healing journey, watching myself reverse age. It's crazy. Some days I look 10 years older, though, when I'm in the midst of emotional release. I know for me, my health is 90% emotional. When I hold on to emotions and I just get through things and put them aside for later, sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing that. It makes me sick and old. So, all of these practices that I do for emotional well being are completely tied to my physical well being, and they are so important. And I use the frequency specific microcurrent, yoga, massage as that last 10% to really allow that release to fully finish. But energetically, if you fix it on the energetic level, you are going back into time like a time traveler, repairing the memory of what happened with your love and light. And that has quantum effects on the present state of your body. If you feel like that makes sense, you can pause this and listen to that part again. But like the Kabbalistic religion also agrees with that, saying that you can morally repair things and bring in blessings by visualizing back to that moment where you were hurt or hurt somebody and changing it, visualizing a different outcome, you saying a different thing, or apologizing to a certain person, and it repairs the metaphysical field. And not only that, but it also opens up blessings. And that makes sense if you think of it in frequency, where if because we are channels of source, life force energy, we're alive. So we're channeling this creator energy. The light of the creator is animating us, if you want to look at it that way. Then you are harmonizing distortions that are blocking some of that source energy. So when we repair in the and when we visualize repair, that repairs the energy field and opens up more of that source energy. And that is the key to eternal life. You remaining a clear channel makes you an eternal being. That's our true nature. So going up the chakras, we have our sacral chakra, then our solar plexus chakra. So I belong, I feel, I am, And I can. Some people say I can, but I am. This is my sense of self and self worth. This is who I declare myself to be. This is who Creator has animated me to be. Then my heart chakra, I'm sorry, yellow and then green, anahata heart chakra. I love and I receive love. I give love. I am love. So do you see how I belong? I'm here, right? And I feel, I feel. So I belong. I feel. This is like who we really are. We are meant to be here on this planet. We are feeling creatures, energy, water, life giving, life receiving. I am. So that's who I am. Those lower three chakras, that's your very base level of existence. Then, as you rise up the dimensions of your energy being, fourth dimension, you are in you are in a higher state of being when you enter the heart chakra, because you're no longer simply having a physical experience, you're also connecting to that source energy and broadcasting that source energy, receiving that source energy. It's no longer just about you. And when you're connected to love, you're connected to humanity. So it becomes about we. And when we harmonize our fifth dimension, our throat chakra, blue, Vishuddha, I speak and I listen. I express. We express. So now I prefer to stop here and then start again from the top down, because in my experience, love is what connects us to the reality that we are most comfortable in, and it is a higher energy that is expressed and felt through our earth experience. So we receive source energy from the stars, higher guidance into our eighth chakra, our soul star chakra. That's connecting us to our higher versions of ourselves, our rishi self, our oversoul, our eternal life self. And we receive that source light and love. Light is consciousness, love is energy. Third eye, we see. We have clarity. We see not just the physical, we see with our intuition, we see multiple dimensions, multiple layers to people, ourselves. Like we can go in and we can look in our body. We can connect with a being in meditation. We can notice the trees sending us a message. So I see clarity. That's our third eye, ajna. It's indigo. Whereas our crown chakra, oh, I skipped the crown chakra. So we have the eighth soul star chakra, which is a star. That's you. You are part star. Your crown chakra, UV, light. This is your receiving into your third eye. So the light of awareness. And then your throat chakra. You are receiving that energy and you're expressing it through love. That's why we want to connect from the top down, because we want our expression to be connected to love. And we want to be connected to how we really feel in our embodiment. We want to be embodied beings of light and love, so that that's what we're giving and receiving. And we're informed by true reality and embodied, enlightened, embodied in love, receiving love. And that's connecting us to a different matrix than the matrix that even the seven chakra system is in. I already started us connecting us to the heart of Mother Earth. That's already a different matrix than just the seven chakra system. The 8, 9, 12, 13. I function on a 13 chakra, 13 point matrix. So Earth, in the Earth experience, I am in a matrix with my 13th dimensional self. And that is different than the early 10th dimensional matrix, like early religions, even the more recently coming to light, the 12th dimensional matrix. And I know some really amazing, enlightened, like hidden knowledge teachers who are finally sharing about the 12th dimensional matrix and plugging people into that. And that is an eternal life matrix for in their worldview. But the 13th matrix is new, and that's been coming through me only starting this year. So the snake, the serpent energy is clearing out old systems and breaking old paradigms, breaking these energetic systems, matrices that have held us in a certain way of giving and receiving energy and engaging with higher beings. And the energy flows much better in the matrix of 13 because it's embracing the feminine. There is circular energy here. So you're noticing that, like, for example, I noticed in my business ventures that everything feeds into something else. And it's like, it made me crazy to build it that way because it was so many moving parts. But now that it's functioning, it's like, oh, if someone wants to go on the path where they go inward to the Crojo and they learn from guides there and work with their darkness and sit with the departed loved ones, and they can go there. But when they get need some inspiration, they can flow into sparkle power and start expressing some of those darker emotions, or visualizing more for themselves with sparkle power, and getting a new branding, new image, going shopping with sustainable clothes in sparkle power, and then coming out, they want to lead, they go into balance power where they can share these tools that they learned with people in the corporate world or in their own retreat. So that there's all these circular systems. Like, I just launched a product called Pain Detox, and that is perfect central item place to start with shamanic warriors, where you're going out into the wilderness, you're not hurting yourself or others anymore. You want relief. There's a alchemizing an alchemy igniting compound and intention in Pain Detox that you take for 7 days, along with the lesson of disidentifying from the pain body. And in the description of this, you can find the PDF about the pain body in the description of Pain Detox. So that's free. That's a free PDF, but you have to click on the Pain Detox and read the description to find it, just because it shows you what is a pain body, and like what we found there, and how we tend to identify with our pain because it's all we know. But once we identify that it is just a distortion, it is just a trapped energy, it is just a part of us, our sweet little girl or boy that gets some stage time, some attention from mom or dad, then we don't need any of those stories of being hurt. We can accept that things aren't where we want them to be, while still not identifying with the pain body, because we remember that we're powerful. So that's a great PDF. You can download it, share it, whatever you need to do. But Tolle, I still don't know how to say that, even though he's so profound and I quote him all the time. But that is very important, because when we're in our highest alignment, we are not pain. Our physical experience has pain as one of the polarities to pleasure. And we have been so imbalanced with these. We go to both extremes to hide from one another. Like if you're in pleasure, oh no, it's probably not going to last. I'm going to go ahead and put myself in pain. I'm going to sabotage this. I'm going to do something, you know, 5 cheat days in a row because this pleasure, this self confidence feels too good. Or if I'm in pain, I've been in pain so much, I'm just going to numb it out with pleasure. Problem is, staying in this polarity, you're not finding the joy of the center. Joy is the highest vibration other than authenticity, but it's very high vibration. Like dogs, they have their social structure set up around play. Yes, they fight sometimes, but mostly it's play. Our true nature, we're playful, we're joyful when we're in balance. The disidentification from the pain body starts with a very important practice called pain into purpose that I will be sharing, not now, but throughout these next couple weeks. If you're watching this on 1010 or around 1010, I set the intention, I set the energetic field for this day to be the end of identifying with the pain body. And I gave time, like I set this time frame of 10:10 to 11:11. So if this isn't the date for you, don't worry about it. It's still a few weeks. It's a safe place for you to express badly, to not be perfect, to not be your highest self yet, but not be identified with the pain body, to slowly or rapidly shift out of that into identifying all the power that you've gained from that pain. And so 11:11, or whenever your chrysalis is done, we emerge as our 13th dimensional matrix, eternal life connected, powerful, balanced power, centered in our true self, committed to our life of joy. And we get to know who that is over these next few weeks. So that is what we're doing. And in that period, I will release another video, maybe even a live, where we turn our pain into power. And you hear that from everyone, that this exercise that I have, it is potent and we can do it in 10 minutes. So we have that to look forward to. I am so grateful for your attention, your presence. If you are a healer, a teacher, a seer, a shaman, um, a, a service oriented being, thank you. Thank you so much. Look at what we've done. Look at how many people are awake. Look at where we're going. So many people are love centered and saying, wait, this is not okay. Let's create something new. Let's start community again. Let's have fun. Let's open our minds and clear our hearts and heal our bodies with energy, emotional work, rest, touch. We deserve touch. I have the Tantra retreat where it shows you how to safely set up an experience with another where you are in no pressure vicinity to touch in very safe, non sexual ways so that you purify the connection, because it shouldn't be this awkward. There shouldn't be so much weird distortions. It should be heart to heart, getting that touch, receiving and giving love connected to all we are. That is 50% off right now, but it's going to go up. Um, I said it's going to end on 10:10. I will extend this for 2 more days. So hurry and grab that because it shows you Taoist energy practices to harmonize your energy, take that sexual energy and turn it into chi. It's taking the child and becoming the parent and turning that energy into healthy, healing energy that nourishes you on the cellular level, the vibrational level, while showing you those tantric connection practices so that you can prepare to connect with people from this space of you don't need it, but we deserve it. That's our true nature. And touch is safe when you do it in this way with mutual respect and boundaries. And I give you the scripts. Me and a friend, we are talking it out, modeling it for you. So I will link that in the description. Please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I set up my stuff to go explore, so you can click one link and you'll be clicking around. Enjoy. I love you. Spend some time with that inner child. Get to know her. Find some of your old writings. And again, journal what you found in that body scan. And please, please, please celebrate your journey. I am celebrating you. I am honoring you. I wish you knew how I felt, what I thought, how I'm just so grateful. Everyone in my life, I just want to send them a text like, thank you, because we're here and we're clear. 1010, we are clear. Now we get to know that clear self was not identified with the pain. Even if pain exists in us right now, that's not us. We are not our pain. And that pain body and pain detox will teach you more about that. I love you. Thank you again. I can't wait to see you soon. I'll post updates on the community post page. I love you guys. You're perfect just the way you are.